interesting. And then we'll find as we move through September and October as well, that people go from that okay, we're cold and the lights work, to, okay, now let's try and create something that we actually want to live in. Which is amazing, because I've got this friend in Barsha who basically moved down to Victory Heights, and
really,
it's like a landlord. It was a landlord scenario. It wasn't financial. Anyway, he found this absolute bargain.
Uh-oh. You see, every time someone finds, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, I found a bargain.
Yeah.
In most places in the world, a bargain equals fixer-upper.
Yes.
Here, when you find a bargain, it is also a fixer-upper.
That's a nice way of putting it. Other people would just say is
a dump. I'm living in a dump.
Yeah. So he's literally he moved in, I don't know, 10 days ago, and so far, out of 9 ACs, he's had 4 compressor replacements.
Oh, no.
And replaced by a landlord who has his own maintenance team.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds like my place.
Yeah, bless him. He's now, he is a very tough man, let's put it that way. So he sat on the roof with the guys as they're doing the changing and sending me frequent videos. Does this look right to you? No.
I think my maintenance guys, because my landlord has, and for the most part, the maintenance guys do a decent enough job. But if they're up on the roof, I'm also climbing up on the roof. And they kind of say, oh, sir, you don't have to come up. I say, oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, but if you imagine, that's kind of 16 hours worth.
Yeah, that means you got to have the water up there and the umbrella.
Exactly.
And most of those guys, you guys at least take up some tenting and you've got water and ice.
Yeah.
Some of I see the AC guys that do my place, they don't have any of that.
No, I know. It's, it's for us, that's a simple part of safeguarding your own staff.
Yeah.
So all of our guys have ice. We actually can produce up to 2 tons of ice a day.
Which is pretty darn incredible.
We've got a lot of teams to cover, and I don't want that to be a limiting factor. They each have an esky of water and all have hydration salts that we buy by the pallet load.
Which is pretty awesome.
So it's just and we have to then educate everybody, because it's amazing how many AC techs who naturally will work in hot environments have no knowledge of safety.
How is it that they don't? How is it that they don't understand hydration? Forget about
also been missed.
Forget about just the worker. Guys like yours who are doing this. People in general don't seem to get dehydration and saying, oh yeah, but I'm in AC. You still dehydrate, and you need to be taking on 3-4 liters of water a day just normally.
Yeah.
If you're now going to be outside, you gotta double that.
Yes, absolutely.
And as you said, that's when you need the hydration salts.
See, that was the classic. Back in the day, we had a few guys, and when we realised there was an issue, we had a few guys that didn't like the taste of the hydration salts, which we then changed actually. So they're now all on Pocari Sweat, which is 4 times the price of.
I got to share a story with you. Yeah. I visited some ex-Dubai friends when we were away this summer, and it did my head in. It was hilarious. I'm not going to mention their names, ex-pilots, Braden, and this one just made me laugh. And Steve and Stephanie, don't want to mention their names, we're going out golfing, right? So we're talking in a part of Ontario.
Okay.
It was maybe going to be 30 degrees Celsius. And they're going out saying, oh man, we got our water, we got our hydration salts in that water. And I'm going, and I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, hold on, you guys lived in Dubai like I did for like 15 years. 30s like winter.
Yeah.
Were you hydration salting then the entire time you lived in country? And I missed this?
Yeah.
Because it was like a priority. It's like, it's gonna be hot. I just thought, awesome that they're doing that. But I think it's interesting when we change our venues, how we change our thinking about hydration and these salts and that. And I'm almost positive when they were going to work here in the UAE on a regular day like today, where it's going to be 40-something, they weren't hydration salting in their water bottles.
No, I'm sure they weren't. And it's massive.
Yeah.
We have had guys pass out before now, which is the other reason why our guys always work in a team of 2. So there's always a backup within that environment. And on a roof, they are not allowed to be on a roof alone for longer than a 10-minute period.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
You sometimes need number 2 to go and get your bits and bobs, but it's a standard safety thing that you have a buddy system in place. So that's been critical for us. But now what we're finding is that people are starting to get through that phase and onto that next stage, which is let's make a house a home.
I love that transition you just did there.
Yes.
And you know how that happens? is you get away on vacation, you start looking around, maybe you're in a hotel, maybe you're in an Airbnb. I'm big on the Airbnbs.
You are?
Yeah, we use lots of them. I had some great
They've
places.
worked well.
Oh, I had some great places. I'm going to give a shout out to Max in Toronto, in York. Nice. And if you can rent Max's place in Toronto on Vaughan Road, if you're looking for a place in Toronto and you want the Airbnb, that man has it. And,
nice.
And whether it's winter or summer, Max is a super host, not just figuratively, but literally, he's a super host. And his place will make your Toronto stay spectacular. So
I always feel I need to go to Toronto now.
Oh man, this guy, and you know what? I think Natalie would love this place as well, because it's got vacuum cleaners galore. It's got all the cleaning supplies galore, but not just cleaning supplies, they're also environmentally friendly cleaning supplies, washer dryer, all that kind of stuff. And then for you, it's got the dartboard in the living room as well. So
I need a dartboard in the living room.
Super security, because he's also got, well, you know, it's all locked up and all that, but he's also got video monitors at all the entrances. Cool. So when you're watching your big screen TV over the fireplace, there's also a little monitor on the side, so you can watch Vaughan TV, as I call it, and just watch the cars. But anyway,
man.
But no, and for you guys with the family, it's got multiple bedrooms.
Useful.
And you know, multiple washrooms as well. So you got upstairs and downstairs washrooms.
Yeah.
So, you know, water closets.
Great.
So it's
Perfect place.
Yeah, it's awesome. But so you go away, as you're saying, and then you start thinking, oh, you know, what and you start looking at stuff, and maybe you do like me and you do an IKEA run for your kids to get them set up in new apartments or new things. And then you kind of look around and you kind of get brainwaves. Oh, I need to do this.
Yeah, I think part of it as well is we are over the worst of the, the best of the rental situation here. Prices are rising.
Oh, yeah.
And rising, you know, especially for villas in certain areas.
Like the ranches, are they going?
The ranch has gone insane.
Oh, really?
Absolutely insane. Not justified in any shape. We have a place that is diagonally opposite ours.
Yeah.
Very slightly smaller than ours. We moved in now almost exactly a year ago, and they're currently asking double.
Really?
And it's a shed.
Wow.
It really is. It's worse than our one was when we got ours.
And are there people looking at it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not full, which is interesting, isn't it? Because by now, it should have been taken if it was the school brigade.
Yeah.
So hopefully he sees sense, because that place, I mean, it is an absolute shed. In fact, here's a classic. He gives you an idea. There is a shed in the garden, but the shed is such a shed that it's got its roof caved in. That's how much of a shed this place is.
You're never going to rent the place if you got a caved-in roof on the shed in the back of the place. When people come in, they look and say, "Well, this is."
Yeah, I mean, that gives you an idea, doesn't it?
You hear Shakespeare, "Beware the Ides of March."
Yeah,
it's like you know.
But then the problem is again supply. Where there's not that much supply of 5 beds in the Arabian Ranches right now. So people are really struggling.
You know what I dream of? Where I dream of moving over, and I mean, I live in Murdoch. I've lived there, and it's like the Wrangler. I'm never going to move. Yeah. So, you know, I can dream, but everyone goes, yeah, you can go look, James, go look. You're never going to move. So why are you wasting your time? It's just like going looking at new cars. You go, yeah, go look at that new car. You know you're never going to buy one. So
I love Meredith. It's got this authenticity to it that so many places in Dubai don't have.
It keeps changing. It's kind of weird. And it's interesting when I walk the dog, you see different groups of people, and it's just crazy. Yeah. But the place that I'm really interested in is across from Victory Heights.
Yes.
And there's a big apartment that has pools on the balconies, and it's kind of a...
Yes, this is Jumeirah Village Triangle.
Yeah, and there's that building there.
Yeah, but that's the 5. You're thinking about the 5 hotel in JVT.
Oh, is that a hotel now?
That's a hotel.
I thought it was condos at one point.
No, it's not. It's definitely a hotel. I know the one you're talking about because it is everybody. Everybody has the same reaction. We try not to laugh. The logic is totally lacking. I get what they're trying to do.
Yeah, me too.
But that scares the living out of me. What are you thinking? See, the thing about a pool on a roof is that is supported in all 4 areas. But actually, the ones there are not fully supported.
Oh no, these are all on balconies, and they're fairly big pools.
Well, they're supposedly cantilevered and everything's absolutely fine. But with that much cantilever, I'm just not feeling that.
Yeah. So, I didn't realize that was a hotel. Oh, I got to check that out. Do you know anyone who's ever stayed there?
I'm sure there was someone on the dog walk that had a very nice time.
Okay.
And it's not crazy money.
No.
It's just I don't want to be there, to be brutally honest. Because if you imagine,
it's the location though. For me, it's I don't know if I want to be in that actual location. Usually, I like to be on a beach, so I know.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of in a very odd location as well. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the 5 brand, so it's not really something that would go my way.
I didn't even know it was a brand.
Yeah, they've got the 5 on the palm, which was slightly legendary during lockdown as being the possible cause of
got closed down a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay. So back on topic.
Yeah, let's try. We can do this, James. I know you and I are naturally just designed to U-turn on every occasion, but we're supposed to be better this time. Remember this new season, what we're supposed to be doing.
We're trying. We're trying.
I know, but we're just not very good at that, are we? We will try harder, Dubai. So, are we on the 5th time of saying when people have got back?
That's it. They've gotten back. They've got all these ideas, and then you walk into your place.
Yes.
The air conditioning. Let's hypothetically say your air conditioning works. Your water heaters are fine. The electricity is all working.
Oh, that house. The only one. In fact, mine isn't even at the moment. Jeez, another story. But okay, so what we're talking about is beautification, basically.
The little things that are, kind of insignificant, but they're so important.
Yeah, they are. If you imagine just a bit of a remodel and can feel like you're in a new property and not having to deal with those ridiculous rental prices, which is where I was going with my last point before we diverted.
There we go.
So as a result, there's all sorts that you can look at with that, and one of the big things is people move because they don't have enough space.
Yeah.
Shelving, people. Shelving is what we're talking about here,
Yeah.
And there's just so many different types that you could actually use that there's a real decision to be made as to which of those options would work for you.
That's motion controlled lighting.
Okay, so the lights keep flashing up and down, people.
The only people who know that are those who are watching us on YouTube.
I know, we've got a mini disco going on here. That reminds me of, I've diverted again.
Here we go.
Yeah, it reminds me of the club disco when I must have been 7, I think, and he literally had just a red, amber, green and nothing else. Even for, 1982, that was rubbish.
Hey, you know what my dad used to make? Color organs. You ever heard of those things?
Colour organ?
A color organ, and it was this whole, it was like a ball light, or he used to make them in boxes.
Pink Floyd were legendary for them back in the 60s.
Plug it into your sounding, and then the lights would come on to the... My dad used to make them.
With the rotation, so that way it would do it.
Oh, it was crazy. My dad used to make those.
Did you know Pink Floyd started that in the early 60s using an amazing kind of oil film so that as it rotated, the actual oil would move around. Wow. The problem was, in 3 out of 4 occasions, the whole thing set on fire.
Sounds like early film.
Yeah,
Sounds like early film.
Yeah.
The Lumiere brothers, that was one of the problems they had with projecting, is the things would just catch fire.
And you know what the best thing for projecting is, and that is to put it on a shelf, James.
There we go.
We're back. We're back.
Shelving is a big one, and we run into some issues here. With the types of shelves. One that I saw, and I've seen them on, and I'm going to shamelessly plug your guys' Insta page.
Oh, thank you.
WEWILLFIXIT Dubai, is if you want to go check, and go check that out, because it's kind of cool.
I recently joined, so I will.
And I was looking at it, and that's partly why this came up, is you guys were talking about the fact that you've got handyman services, which is, do some shelves, put your TV on the wall, all those kind of things. And you're talking floating shelves. We see a lot of those at IKEA.
Yes.
Versus the type of shelves that have brackets, and then there's different types of brackets. And suddenly this becomes a big dilemma. A, which kind of shelving to choose? And B, how do you affix it to the wall? We've got concrete walls, we've got gyprock or gypsum walls, we've got walls that are covered with plaster. Yeah,
you've got all sorts here. And really, the key boils down to kind of two factors, which is, first of all, the aesthetic, and secondly, the physical use that you want to use it for.
So many times I see people put up shelves and they put them up because they're aesthetically going to look nice, and then they pack them, and they're not, the type of shelving they've chosen doesn't work for the weight that they actually, and people underestimate how much stuff weighs.
Well, here's a classic shelving story.
Oh, here we go.
Exactly like that.
Is this your own, or is this?
This is me.
Okay, here we go.
So back in 2009, so we've been going for about a year, I got this very odd phone call that said, we have a job for you in Sakim for a VVIP, and we've done a background check on you personally, and you are approved to be able to come in.
Thank you very much.
Which I thought was all
dodgy.
Very dodgy, to say the least, until they sent me the background check. I'm like, okay, yeah, you've got info, fine. So in I went, and it turns out it was the ex-wife of a current president of a European country. And throughout the entire time there was a very, very nice gentleman that stayed with me at all times that had a slight bulge quite high up, not where a gentleman might normally have a bulge, but he had a bulge slightly higher up than normal. And he was very, very affable. But I think if I'd taken even a 5 mil deviation, then there would have been a little bit of shrapnel flying around the place. It was one of those environments. But they were very nice people, I must say. And that was basically the Lac Shelf epic. I must have done, I think I did 4 days of Lac Shelves. And if you imagine, at this stage...
Describe the Lac Shelves, because there's going to be someone who's not familiar.
Yeah, so the Lac Shelf is the legendary floating shelf from IKEA.
Yeah. They sell millions of those.
Oh, God, yeah, and more. And basically what it is a shelf that has a metal bracket behind it, but it's a metal bracket with 2 prongs.
Yeah.
But also it's IKEA kind of style, which means they've worked very hard to cost reduce it to the maximum, so it does exactly what it says on the tin, but nothing more. So therefore, the majority of that Lac Shelf has a kind of space-saving non-wood in it, with but it's sheathed. You know, they've got that both sides of it, with 2 cores where the prongs of the metal support go in.
All spills disaster if it gets too heavy to me.
Exactly, but they specify this very clearly on their packaging, that those shelves are not designed for weight. So obviously I've told this to my little minder in the location, said whatever you do, do not put any weight on these, and went on my merry way after 4 days having done 70 or 80 shelves. It was just insane.
That's a lot.
I was just...
So you're an expert on the Lac Shelves.
Well, I was in those days. I mean, I can't remember last week, let alone 2009. But that was all done. Anyway, get a phone call 3 weeks later.
From the guy, or from the guy who was packing, or from the...
No, from whoever the facilitator was that I never met.
Okay, all right.
Your services are required once again to fix the shelves you fitted 3 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, here we go. Well, I'm like, I don't get this. They've got solid walls. I've used expansion bolts. So something is not right here, okay? They decided to use most of them as solid bookshelves.
Oh, no.
They're obviously readers, and they wanted their kids to read as well. And every bracket had bent. I mean, literally, it was unbelievable. My not one failure in the wall. I was extremely proud as I took my pictures and then got told by packing it that I'm not allowed to take pictures in the house. I'm like, I'm going to prove this isn't me. And he's like, don't worry, I will tell the powers that be. Anyway, next thing you know, I'm building new shelves with brackets underneath. Did the whole job all over again. And then the lady of the house came through and said, "Oh, that looks so ugly." I'm like, "Yeah, but you've got a lot of books." So we kind of came to a compromise solution.
So what did you do? Because you were using the non-load bearing shelves.
I literally threw away every Lac shelf.
So you got rid of the Lacs?
It just wasn't suitable for what they wanted to do.
What kind of brackets did you end up using?
I just used a straight L bracket. I mean, a little bit more elegant one than...
Because you got those metal things that are pretty common.
These are kind the...
Then you got the springy wood ones that they also sell at IKEA.
Yes, but the problem with these is if you have a traditional L bracket, A, they look pretty rubbish, and secondly, because they often are not triangulated, they're not that strong anyway.
Right.
So knowing what they were going to do with it, I gave them an option of a triangulated or a triangulated, and bizarrely, thank God, they went with the triangulated. So, and then I literally was adding mid-section. So I knew what they were going to do to them. And as far as I was concerned, this time around, if I couldn't sit on it, then they weren't having it. So yeah, it was over-engineered beyond belief. Actually, they moved out a year later, which was hilarious.
Did they want you to come and take the shelves off the walls?
I don't think they were that kind of people.
Okay, they're just going to leave them. It's like, they're yours.
But we got loads of phone calls back for all sorts of oddities, but never back for the shelves. So it worked out pretty well. But that almost is an illustration, actually, when you think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about the the aesthetic versus the practical.
Right.
And that is shelving in a nutshell, really, isn't it? Which is, the lady of the house will always say, I have a vision. This is every stereotype as well, can't you think about it?
That's pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah, the gentleman of the house will be told he will create that vision, and then it's a question of who wins. And on that basis, in the last
for me, usually it is when it's like, here's the vision. It's like, I'm screwed. There's no way. I do not have the ability to do this. And it's sheepishly because you don't want to admit you don't have the ability, but I'm kind of looking at these things, and with the shelving, I'm looking at, okay, I got to figure this out, got to get this up, then I got to get it level. But then you run into the problem, okay, level shelves versus not level walls.
Yes.
Or straight walls.
In the vertical and the horizontal.
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, how am I going to make this look okay?
Oh, we did all that. We did all that. In the last house, because basically we had exactly that husband versus wife scenario, I had 14 lax shelves that were all put into the place. So the only win that I got was, you don't put anything heavy on here whatsoever. And bless her, she stuck to it.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. But actually that was kind of a modification of the lac because they were floating shelves, but it was in an alcove. And instead of, I knew better than to try and put all the way across the alcove. So I actually bracketed it at the side and then also the back and left it floating on the right-hand side. And then did the reverse on the other side. So that way.
Stylish.
It was on the basis that, but the issue was that nothing was straight. So the only way to get around that is actually to put it up straight, without a doubt, and then you just literally need a tiny little bead of silicone to actually, so your eye is taken away from the gap caused by the rubbish walls. And that's the only way of doing it, as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it is. It's really annoying. But these are the things sent to test you. Oh, there's another one. And again, Sakim again.
Oh no!
This is 2010.
Okay.
And the brief was, I want 3 shelves that I can sleep in.
What?
Yeah, seriously, 3 shelves that I can sleep in. And he's a dear friend of mine. Actually, owns an advertising agency, and he basically, when he said that he could sleep in. What he meant was, I'm going to put enough weight in them that you're going to need to be able to, you're going to need to have them at that kind of level. And also, they are the size of a single bed, each one.
So he's putting gear on there.
Oh, he is. Yeah. So he needed like major heavy-duty storage.
So what'd you do?
Well, obviously, I did what any sensible person would do in this situation, and I outsourced it. So I got Generic Carpentry onto it. And they had a nightmare. There was no, again, if you imagine, I had a wall either side that was not straight, but it was like convex, I guess. So basically, the front was the narrowest point, and it went out and then in again. And I mean, their fabrication is brilliant. So I knew I had no problem in terms of strength. And what they actually did was they battened it on all the way around the 3 sides. And then put enormous battens and also rods all the way through the shelf itself. But then when they got there, they were like, our measurements weren't quite as accurate as they should have been. And it took them 2 days to fit 3 shelves.
So this is the other thing when you're putting in shelves and you're doing anything, measure twice, cut once, or make sure the person who's doing all that measurement knows precisely what is going to be happening and can communicate that to the guys who are fabricating.
Yes, and if you have the option of kind of an alcove, so by that I'm meaning a shelf that goes between 2 walls, which requires precision, then run. If you don't have the option to run, measure front, middle and back. Make sure that you've got that accuracy to know what your walls are doing, because here in Dubai they were thrown up quite quickly, and it is no scenario where your front's going to be the same as the back. So have a plan in place beforehand is really critical.
But it ended up working out okay.
Oh, they were amazing. And we did. We got into each one. That was my handover to Ian, which was, right, have a look at this. In you go, boys. Done.
Nice.
So that worked out really well. But again, that aesthetic is really where things are changing, I think. So everybody knows that with the floating shelves, you're always going to have some kind of limit of weight.
They do look cool though. Like I got to admit,
they do.
I mean, I love the look of a floating shelf. I've never installed one because I know that they're going to get weighed down. Yeah.
So if you are going to now go with something where you do need physical, visible brackets, finally, it seems like the world has woken up to the fact that they've got to be a bit more aesthetically pleasing than the traditional L shape in metal that they might spray white if you're lucky. So there's a lot more available than there used to be, and a lot more options. And you know, the wonders of Pinterest. It gives you kind of a 5-second feel for what options are and a bit of a guide in terms of the direction you're going. If you merge that with even Amazon these days that has all sorts of shelf brackets, then you're in a good place within half an hour.
It's amazing what you can buy online now.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
You know, it's almost come to the point where, yes, you go to the old standbys, you go to your hardware guy, you go to your, the person who can source stuff. Yeah. But I'm finding more and more, I'm seeing something that's really cool, and where am I ending up? I'm ending up online.
Yeah.
And it's getting delivered within 5 days, or sometimes with the next day.
Just incredible, isn't it?
And you kind of think, well, why can't I get that at XYZ store? I can't find it anywhere. I don't know. It's weird.
It is, and especially if you're brand specific as well. Yeah. If you think about the difference in how we shop now, it used to be you go to the shop after a particular type of item,
right,
and you would choose from the selection that they had.
Yeah.
And now you want a brand, you want this particular model because that's the one that you've seen the reviews about, and therefore you know that that one is reliable. So therefore, I think we shop just so radically different that it's no longer suited to the traditional high street and the way that operated, which is a real shame.
It is. It is. I used to like being able, and I still like, that was one of the things I loved when we went home. And not that I used any of this stuff, but I drove by and went, oh, I love that. Small, bespoke, community hardware stores.
Oh, wow. No, we have none of that now.
Oh,
my hometown, so I left Preston in Lancashire when I was 18, I guess, and I'm now 46. But I still am a member of all of the Preston groups that send pictures frequently of all bits of Preston. Our high street is now a combination of either charity shops and betting shops. There's like our main street has 5 betting shops on it.
Really?
It's so sad to see. It really is. But this is what happens with online.
We were in Vaudreuil, not even Vaudreuil, Pancourt in Quebec, and we were staying in this lovely little Airbnb.
Yeah.
And there was this shop, and it was an electronics shop. And I kept saying to the wife, I got to go in there, check it out. I didn't. Until the day we were leaving, I said, okay, we got a little bit of time, just for kicks and giggles. I'm going to go in and check it out.
Yeah.
And I'm kicking myself that I hadn't gone earlier, because not only did it sell all sorts of electronic stuff, it sold all sorts of hardware stuff, including a wall. So if you're looking on YouTube, you can see this wall that's behind Colin.
Yeah.
It had a wall like that of packages of electronic stuff that you could make with your kids or make for yourself.
But this is what we did in the 80s.
Yeah.
I used to love all that.
And this shop had everything. Yeah. And I was just walking the aisles going, oh my.
Yeah.
And, mental note to myself, next time I'm in town, I'm going to get this. And I thought, okay, wait, how obscure and how odd can I find stuff? They even had an automotive repair section. So how many times have you dropped a screw way down into your engine somewhere and you can't get it out? It had the device that you can use to go in with the big long...
Expandable with the... What's on it? I wonder where mine is. I've definitely got one.
So I'm going, oh, this is the place. And the lady was just looking at me. It was like I was in a candy store. It's like,
See, there's 2 versions of that. You've also got the grabber, which is brilliant, and the micro grabber. So it needs to have like just a point on the end. Yeah. So it's really small and it opens and closes. I love that one because again, anything plastic that you get in your car is a nightmare from that perspective.
But I still passed some little hardware stores and where you could go in and you could say to the guy, look, this is what I'm working on. I says, yeah, I know exactly what you need. Come over here. Wow. And buy stuff. And it's always the fact that there's a person there who knows it. And I know Home Depot kind of plays with that a little bit, especially on the weekends. Like they'll be showing you how to do stuff. And typically you can go in and there's going to be a guy there in the lighting section say, yeah, I'm trying to work on this. And he's going to know his stuff and be able to direct you. But I still love the little family-run places.
Oh, God, I'd be all over that, without a doubt. It's such a shame. We discussed this again, that must be 10 years ago now with a certain hardware store here. And it just didn't work out, which was a shame, but to be able to do a little bit of that. And interestingly enough, another guy that I know that did a business that was based around parents and kids being able to do these projects together.
Yeah.
But it was also like either taking apart electronics that were there, or just basic woodwork projects together.
A little makerish kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And but unfortunately, he did. Well, no, it wasn't. He didn't really get going before COVID, which was such a shame. And he got nailed by COVID, obviously.
Right.
And that was him gone. He just wasn't established well enough beforehand for it to work. But I would love to have supported that.
You know what, Colin? I think we've maxed out our time today. And I know, and we talked shelving. That was our goal.
Yes. And how many times? I think it was 6 that we had to keep trying to come back to that.
Yeah.
We tried.
We tried.